You're going to be the worst team in the MLB next year.
Yeah, no, you guys are going to suck.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Blue Jays. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. And today, we are gonna shit on some people. That's right, guys. This is the top 5 worst teams in the MLB for 2021. God, I am so thankful that we are no longer on this list.
We can say this now. We can say this with confidence, but hey, the future is bright.
And you know what I can also say is that I think that we are closer to the top 5 best teams than we are the top 5 worst teams.
Yes,
and
we are.
And that was not something that you could have said for 2018, because I think we could have made a strong argument for being on that list that year. But before we break down who sucks for 2021, I'm just gonna shit on these teams now, man. I'm gonna go off. Before we break that down, guys, make sure to like, sub, hit the notification button. You know the drill. $3 a month to become a Patreon member, and now a new thing that goes along with that is you get to call in and be on the show to ask your question. Very, very cool.
Very cool.
So pat on the back for me and Adam for coming up with that idea, because this is our
Genius.
show. All right, buddy. So there were some crap teams.
There
are some crap teams.
There are some crap teams.
Before we get into the bottom 5, do you have any honorable mentions that didn't quite make the list of being so bad?
Well, okay. These people they came to my mind, right? I'm not going to say these are very close, but these people came to mind when thinking of the list.
Sure.
You know, I thought about Baltimore, and you know what? They had a good year last year, and they have some promise. Obviously, they're not going to win the division or even get close to it.
Yeah.
But you're not bottom 5, so just a little spoiler.
Well, and you know what? I could see them becoming bottom 5 again. They
could.
They absolutely could. They're not on our list right now, but they definitely could. You know, Kansas City Royals was another team that came to mind. I thought too. We didn't. I still don't think that they're quite there yet. But if Boston was to trade Xander Bogaerts or something like that,
because their pitching is horrible.
Their pitching really is
bad.
Truthfully bad. Who even knows what's going on with Chris Sale anymore?
Oh,
and,
their
pitching
done.
was their whip. Boston's whip was
So bad.
1.6 last year.
Wow,
that was atrocious.
Horrible.
like the worst in the league by far. So I still think that their lineup is too good with Verdugo and Bogaerts and Devers, but
Martinez.
Watch out, guys. Watch out.
All
right. Tell me who the 5th suckiest, shittiest team is.
For 2021, the 5th worst team we have
Hmm.
projected is the Seattle Mariners. Seattle Mariners have sucked for a while now. They're not getting back to anything close to where they were a decade ago. They're pretty bad. I mean, if you look across the board, they're just bad. They kind of remind me of a slightly kind of better 2018 Blue Jays, where you have some prospects coming in the wings, but they're not there yet. So you just kind of have to suffer and suck. So
suffer in silence. And I guess you know what? Let's call a spade a spade. They did actually win 27 games last year.
They did,
which is the most out of anybody on this list by a decent margin. So I mean, that's good for them. And they were actually, I think, in conversation for postseason for a lot of that year. They were always kind of getting their name tossed around. Obviously, inevitably did not end up making the cut, but I mean, so that's good. I just don't think that's going to happen again, and I think that they over the course of an entire year will have a much worse record, you know, below 70 wins for sure.
They just have way too many question marks and nothing stable.
Yeah, exactly, man. And just nothing was really I actually don't really know why.
How did they get there?
Why they won as many games as they did.
They're bottom 10 in a lot of rankings in the all team rankings in the entire MLB, so I really don't know.
One thing I do want to point out though is that the horizon is not that far away for them, because they have 2 prospects so I was looking at the MLB's top 100 prospects, and they have 2 in the top 5. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
So that's and typically it's difficult with baseball, it's hard to rank these guys, but when you're in the top 20, usually you're going to be a stud. And put this in perspective, Nate Pearson ranks 10th on that list. So they have 2 guys in the top 5. Those guys are probably going to be studs that I would imagine that they're going to build their team around. So,
but it just won't happen this year.
Won't be happening this year. Won't be happening this year. But look out for them in a couple years down the line. All right, buddy.
Who's next?
Number 4. They are just in a downward spiral. They don't know who their identity is. I just think the general manager got fucking wasted the other night too, and just clicked the panic button and just said, "Fuck it, we're tearing this thing to the ground. I don't even care anymore."
Yeah.
It's the Colorado Rockies.
Yep.
What the hell was that trade for Arenado?
No idea.
I still don't understand.
Yeah, they just got like no one. Like you want to talk like top prospects, like the Seattle Mariners. They didn't even get close to that, and they got 5 guys that weren't even. They weren't even close. The best one was number 9 in their system.
Yeah.
So horrible trade.
Yeah, that just doesn't. That's redonkulous, man. Like that's crazy.
And their one strength is their offense, and they lost Arenado. I call it a loss. I didn't trade him for anything equal. They lost him. They lost Dahl. Murphy's retiring. Blackman's getting old. Other than that, they really don't have anyone else other than Trevor Story. And like I'm projecting that Trevor Story is going to be shipped off halfway through the year.
I saw something from John Boy Media, and you know what? Like, shout out to Trevor Story as well, man, because John Boy said, "Story, like, get out of there." And seriously, I also second that notion. Like, you are a quality young player. You do not want to get locked down in a team like this, because this rebuild will be extensive. Yeah. They don't have crazy good prospects like some of these other teams waiting in the wings. Their pitching is just so unreliable.
Bad.
And the fact that the management, you know, like this team, it kind of reminds me of the Houston Texans in football. Like, to trade away your star player like that. DeAndre Hopkins is the example that I'm making right now.
That trade was even worse, though.
Yeah, that trade was arguably even worse. But I mean, this one, it's just like to trade away your star player and get like just hardly any return back.
Yeah, you're not getting anything. That's the killer for me.
That speaks to just horrible management. And when you have horrible management, it's impossible to get yourself out of a hole. Yeah. So I think that they are going to suck. This rebuild will be long for Rockies fans. I feel for you guys.
Sorry, guys.
That's a tough one.
Yes, it is.
That's a tough one for sure.
Now, coming in at number 3, we have
the third shittiest
even
team.
More suckier. These are just going to get more and more suckier as we go on.
Blow.
Is the Detroit Tigers.
And guys, these guys sucked so bad, they didn't even finish their season. They didn't even play 60 games.
It's almost like they gave up.
Yeah. It's like they went 23-35, and I feel like the MLB hit them up and was just like, "Yo, guys, so you guys have 2 games left. Do you want to play it?" And they're just all like sitting in the dugout, and they're like, "No, no, thank you."
Of course, we're kidding. It's COVID reasons, that's ridiculous.
It's just like we're just not gonna finish.
No. However, there was some positive notes on Detroit. They did sign manager AJ Hinch, who won 2017 World Series. His manager record is 558. Okay. So they actually got a good manager in AJ Hinch.
Well, they're going to need one because their ERA was the worst in the league last year.
Terrible.
So yeah, I mean, like that was 5.63, I think it was, and like that's just too many runs to be giving up on average, man. Especially when you're considering that you're a 3-hitter, and no disrespect for Miguel Cabrera, like he was elite in his time, but this is no longer his time of being elite.
I consider him, like, for those Toronto Maple Leafs fans out there, I consider him like Joe Thornton. You know, it's like he was elite. Now he's just, I don't even know what he is, but not as good as Joe Thornton's not as good as Miguel Cabrera was.
Yeah,
but.
and you know, Cabrera is probably like going to the Hall of Fame, arguably, but I mean, like. Yeah, it's just not at the place that he used to be. The one positive thing, again, for Detroit is that the horizon is within sight, guys. This is probably, I really liked what the Seattle Mariners had going with 2 prospects in the top 5. But you guys have 5 prospects in the top 25 prospects.
Amazing.
I love that team build. That speaks to depth. That speaks to the fact that we can have a bust in those guys, and it doesn't matter because we still have 4 other guys. I want to put this in perspective as well. Jordan Groshans, who, you know, we've been talking a lot about being like very elite prospect. Like, this is a guy that you can have come into the majors, be a starter. I think he's ranked like 46th or something on this list.
Right.
So they have 5 guys who are arguably far ranked higher than him, and that's really nice.
They have Mize, I forget his first name, but Mize, a pitching prospect coming up. And then they have Jake Rogers, their catcher, coming up. Not this year, but should be the year after, because they signed Wilson Ramos to a 1-year deal, that little bridge contract.
Sure.
Which, I mean, is whatever, who cares? But once you get Jake Rogers in there, he's a stud. He's going to... That I think they'll still be bad in that year, but like it's kind of like the Jays where they bring in their prospects for the first time. Maybe they do some noise. If not, they're just bottom.
Well, and you know what, their pathway seems a lot clearer to me. You know, it's like they have these old guys like Ramos, like Cabrera, you know, and it's like we're basically just bridging ourselves until, you know, our 5, you know, very nice prospects can come up, and that can be the core, and then we can build around that. And I'll be honest, you know, like this is going to be a team, like to see that many prospects, I do believe that 1 year in the next, you know, 5 years or so, we're going to be looking at the Detroit Tigers and saying, oh, wow, how did that happen?
Yeah.
But not this year. You're going to fucking
They're gonna suck. I'm sorry, Detroit fans. Hey, I had to go through all of 2018. I barely watched 2018. I remember like tuning in like, yeah, we're bad. Yeah. And like turning it off. Like
still bad.
All I was thinking about though was 2020. And obviously it wasn't exactly what I pictured, but 2020, 2021. That's all I thought about.
Bro,
we are.
You didn't want to watch our stud Randall Grichuk?
No, that we just acquired.
Yeah, like our star-studded like off-season signing that was gonna fucking like lead us out. Or
we traded for him, but then we signed him. But like no, it was horrible. And then Justin Smoke, and it was a train wreck. Didn't like it. No. But you guys got something to look forward to in a couple years. That's for sure.
Yes. So
who's coming in?
The number 2 spot. Now, I mean, this was arguable. Like Detroit was pretty bad. They could have been number 2, but this is where the bias comes in. Because fuck you, Texas Rangers.
I almost feel bad though, because like their team, like we were competing obviously in 2015, 2016. Like it was us and the Rangers. But now like that we had such a better turnaround. They held on to like a dream, and then they crumbled to pieces way longer. Yes. We realized, we changed management. We got Ross Adkins and Mark Shapiro. We changed management, and they came here and said, "Yep, this is a train wreck. Get out of here.
Bro,
get out of here."
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
It's kind of like, you know, like when you break up with your significant other or something, and then you guys catch up in like 3 years. And you're like, I won this one, baby.
Yeah,
like, and they're still in the same dead end job. They still haven't figured it out. They've gotten like fat, and you're like, I figured this one out. And the Toronto Blue Jays figured this one out. The Texas Rangers have not, man. They have not looked good. They were the second worst in batting average last year, second worst in slugging.
They were second worst in almost every offensive stat. And I mean, this is who they got though. they acquired Nate Lau from Tampa Bay, who's dart throw. They acquired David Dahl from Colorado Rockies, another dart throw.
Toss those darts, baby. That's all you got right now.
And their pitching staff's just bad. It's Kyle Gibson, Jordan Lyles, and I'm going to pronounce this so wrong, but they got a Japanese pitcher, Kohei Arihara. And then they also traded away their best pitcher, Lance Lynn, and they lost Mike Miners. Well, they traded him last year, so they're just on the decline. Bad.
And once again, like the Rockies, this is tough, guys. You have zero. You have nothing. Zero prospects in the top 60. Like I think your first prospect is like ranked 62. That is just ouch.
It's something.
It is something, you know.
But that's nothing to build a team
like,
around.
oh gosh, damn it. That's not good, guys. So if I was the Texas Rangers management, I would be doing whatever I can to acquire youth. And maybe that's why they're throwing these darts, dude, because if David Dahl like potentially does hit, he's still young. We could, keep him on the team, or we could even trade him away and get some prospects, so
that's it. It's like an NHL, the video games when you're like, crap, I'm going through a rebuild right now. Just grab anyone off free agency.
Yeah.
Hopefully trade for value, trade for round picks. Like that's all.
They do need to trade for some value because like this will be a long and hard time as a Texas Rangers fan. Like if you guys know, it's difficult to watch stuff like this, man. Because like I see this right now. I see where they were at last year, winning 22 out of 60 games. And the fact that they don't have any big prospects coming up, like this could be like
it's horrible.
Like how many years are they going to be bad?
Like I could see at least 5 years.
I could even see longer than that.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
it's like
horrible.
like this is the beginning of one of those droughts where it's like you don't make the playoffs for like a decade.
Wow,
you know,
that's horrible.
And that's like as a fan base of that organization. I mean, obviously we have our beef with you guys. But I do hope that you make the playoffs.
Yeah, I feel sorry.
Yeah,
but we kicked your ass.
Yeah,
so
yeah, we won the breakup, guys.
They really took those L's harsh. Oh, I'm sorry.
Those ones.
They're like, no, we're going to win with these guys. We swear it works. No, I'm sorry. It's over.
Man, yeah.
But
who's the worst team, dude? Who's gonna lose the most? Who are we gonna make memes out of?
Yeah.
Who's who's Reddit gonna eat alive during the 2021 year?
The worst team in the MLB for 2021 will be the Pittsburgh Pirates. And first of all, they were the worst team last year too. They went 19-41. That's bad. Yeah. And they also their offense was horrible. They got rid of Josh Bell, which is they got the number, I believe it's the number 4 prospect back. No, number 8 in their system.
Right.
Not overall. Right. In their system for Josh Bell. They also traded Starling Marte last year, and they got in their system number 5, number 9. And then traded Joe Musgrove as well. We know about that. They got like 4 top 30s in their system.
So it's clear. I mean, like
they're rebuilding.
At least this management understands what they are.
Yes.
You know, it's like
horrible.
they are giving away their guys, and they are getting prospects back. I mean, like you could argue like some of those trades are maybe better than Arenado's trade. For God's
hell
sake.
yeah!
And I mean, Arenado is better than all of those guys in my opinion. But I do think that they are going to be god awful this year because there's nothing going on, guys.
Who's their pitching?
Well, I was just gonna mention that, dude. Is like you look up their pitching on RotoChamp, and RotoChamp's great because they're always projecting lineups and they're very quick with it. Like a trade happens and it's like bam, like that guy's on that team already. Yeah. So you know we like to look there and see like what are the projected lineups, what are the projected rotations. I've never seen this before. Ever. This is ridiculous. I looked up their team. And they have 2 pitchers right now on their projected starting rotation.
You can't have a team with 2 pitchers.
They have 2 pitchers right now on their projected starting rotation. They always have guys. They always have guys.
Sometimes it's even more. It's like 7, 8. They're like, who's going to start? We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But they just literally do not have anyone. And I don't even think Pittsburgh knows.
No, they don't.
Like, nobody has any idea who's going to pitch games for these people. Like, you know, the coach is going to come out, like, into the parking lot pregame and just be like, yo, anyone want to pitch this game for us?
We have no clue.
We have no idea. So, I mean, when you don't even have guys, like...
There's nothing.
There's just nothing. There's just nothing,
There's nothing.
Man.
I know they have Reynolds. I know I really like Reynolds. I don't know what he did last year, to be honest, off the top of my head. I have no clue. But yeah, I think it's just time to restart, guys. And they do have the number 1 overall pick coming this year, so
that's something.
That is something.
And they do have 1 prospect in the top 10.
Yeah, so if you can time up, you know, that number 1 prospect coming up with a wave of other guys, kind of like Detroit did.
Yes.
Now you have something notable, like kind of like what we did as well, like all the like Bichette, Biggio, Vlad. And now you even have Peterson, and then this year we have like another wave coming.
Yeah.
So it's like if you can do that, now your team is going to be like our team.
Well, I would say, like, I think the management's doing the right thing here. You know, they recognize this is not working. We got to restart. And I mean, no harm, no foul. Like, no disrespect there. It's like when you recognize it, like you make that move, and that's what you got to do, man.
And you're gonna get a lot of heat from the fan base. I know, like a lot of Toronto fans, like Toronto Blue Jays fans, like destroyed Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins when we were selling away Josh Donaldson, weren't signing back Bautista. Like we were getting rid of everyone. But those are
casual.
These are casual fans that don't really see what will happen. And like I knew what was gonna happen. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna have to bite this bullet for a few years. Get through, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Pittsburgh, you're going to get
now,
through.
like you guys do need to bite the bullet, because this is not going to be a good year.
No, you're going to be the worst team in the MLB next year.
Yeah, no, you guys are going to suck, and we're gonna
watch you suck. Actually, I don't even. I'm sorry. Well,
I was gonna say that, but I'm like,
I don't even think I'll watch you. I didn't even watch my OT. I watched, but like it was painful. Like I didn't watch like I would now though. right? 162 games, hard to watch when your team sucks.
Yep, all these teams are bad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sorry about that, guys.
Sorry, guys.
But, yep.
Well, guys, what do you think? Who do you think is going to be one of the worst teams? Did we get it right on our list? Is someone that you would change out, or maybe Colorado is not going to be that bad, or are they going to somehow make it through with Trevor Story?
For sure.
I don't think so,
guys. Please hit us up on Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, Radio Public, and Google Podcasts. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification button. And comment down below. We always love the comments. Instagram, we are always popping off on there. And Patreon, $3 a month to come on here, ask us a question.
Welcome.
Yep.
Come on the show.
Oh, and of course, Relevant.
Yes.
Our Relevant chat. We're doing stuff on there as well. We're going to be going live on there pretty frequently once the season starts.
Yes.
So you will want to be part of that community.
Yes. Lots of good stuff in there, guys. And thank you so much for watching.
And go Jays, go.